Hello artist friend. Today I am going to demonstrate how I go about creating these drawings. This is a tutorial in expressive charcoal drawing. I use the Artisa acrylic marker to kick off the drawing and normally follow up with some pan pastel applied with this makeup sponge I got from Superdrug. This is a sponge wiper. It is very useful for the pan pastel. Kneaded rubber, this mono zero eraser for the really fine details, a normal rubber, and compressed charcoal for the really dark shades. Let's do this. I start out with putting my marker pen marks in place. This is just very loose marks, and I feel it's like creating a sort of energy pattern. I follow up with my pen pastel applied with the makeup sponge. This is a bit like taking a lump of clay. You put too much down and then you start reducing and creating the form later. I love using the makeup sponge for this. It's just so satisfying and so loose. I would encourage you to feel really free about these drawings. If you allow yourself to experiment and put down the marks intuitively and not look too intensely at this thing, but just hold it very loosely and just start practicing mark making like this, and just be open to starting again and just having another go and another go and another go. So sometimes I'll just put all these materials out together with my kids, and I'll just take some crappy paper and I'll just do 20 super loose drawings as we just all play with these materials together. And I just think that's really fun and freeing to do that. Plus, I think it develops your ability to see and to express yourself much better than if you sit down and you're staring at something really intensely for hours and hours. Sometimes if I feel like the drawing is failing, I'll just throw away that or just put that piece of paper to the side and just start again. And then later I find myself coming back to the first drawing, which then turns out better than the second drawing. So it's just to allow yourself the freedom to have fun and to explore and to waste paper. So I normally start with the lighter shades and then work my way darker and darker. Today I've started out quite dark, so I've gone a little bit dark to darker, which is fine. I'm just gonna flow with it. But by starting light you can then remove the marks you've made quite easily. So that when I use the makeup brush and the pen pastel, and I apply these light strokes to just block out where the general outline of the face goes, I find that can easily be rubbed away and just be shifted around. But then once I'm reasonably happy with where I've started the drawing, I go in with the sponge wipers, and yeah, here you can see I'm grabbing my rubber and I'm starting to play around with the highlights. When my movements slow down, that normally means I'm looking at my reference. Every time I take my hands off the paper, I just have a quick glance at the reference, and I haven't edited the pauses out of this video because I think it can be useful for you as well to just have a moment to grab whatever tool you want or to take a look at your reference. You can't look at your reference too much. Just keep glancing at it. Come in with my rubber here and grabbing hold of my sponge wiper. I love this way of drawing. It's very like painting. I only recently discovered these and they're so much fun. So I would recommend getting your hands on these. See what kind of marks you can make with them. So I get a little bit of a suggestion of hair happening here. So when it comes to getting details working, especially in a really loose drawing, there's a few things that have to be really accurate for the drawing to work. And the eyes have to be following the same line. So if you draw a straight line, if you mentally draw a straight line through the corners of the eyes, across to the corners from the right eye to the left eye, you mentally draw a line all the way through. The eyes have to follow a straight line. So if you mentally draw a line through the corners of your eyes and you can see it sort of curves off and becomes a rainbow, then you know you've got some straightening up to do. So I find that really helps. And I always like to pick references where you see the eyes are not straight on. Occasionally I like some straight on eye contact, but I always love it if you draw a line through the eyes and it's actually coming across at an angle. Any angle really will create some movement and a sense of a dynamic feeling in a drawing. And the interesting thing is that somehow when you're beginning this journey, you'll find yourself creating that you will often take those diagonal lines and bring them into horizontal, and that's a typical beginner's mistake. Or I don't know if it's a beginner mistake. I still do this quite. I see myself doing it, and I watch that because I really like it when you've got the eyes going on an angle. As you work with these lines mentally, that you know that the eyes are on the same continuing on the same angle, and you use that the method of sort of mentally putting a line through the corners of the eyes from the left to the right, and that creates a diagonal across this drawing. You also can then mentally notice that you've got your lips coming through at the same angle. And these are some mistakes that I notice I make if I don't sometimes bring my awareness to it, and just have a quick glance at the parallel. Are my lips, the corners of the mouth, running parallel with the corners of the eyes, if you see what I mean? Because if they're not, then there's a little bit of a mistake to fix there. So that's one thing I've really noticed that is improving as I'm practicing like this, that I'm becoming quicker to notice when the direction of the face is a bit off, or when I automatically go to kind of put the eyes horizontal instead of watching for the subtle angles that the eyes present themselves on. But as I said, it's not really about creating a perfect portrait, and sometimes obviously it can be fantastic to deliberately get all of those things wrong. But what I'm doing here is kind of like trying to capture some realism, but then just love the dreamy, smoky feeling of the charcoal, and I really want to kind of make the person disappear in and out of the charcoal. Sometimes when you draw with charcoal, you see these little puffs of smoke. It's almost as if it's still burning, and I love that. And I love trying to capture this smoky feeling in my drawings, as if it's just gonna be there for a second and then it'll be gone. So that's what this kind of drawing is about for me, to kind of translate what I see through my own mark making process, and allow whatever it is that's coming through to come out. So I think I've shared what I wanted to share. So I will just leave you to quietly draw with me, and put some music on and just allow yourself to get in the zone. I do want to strongly forbid you to criticize yourself, because that is one thing I have noticed is the biggest hindrance in creativity, that if I come into a headspace where I allow thoughts of criticism in, and I allow negative self-talk. So for this creativity and these creations that creative sessions that I do with myself, I allow no negativity into my space, and because that is going to finish off your sense of freedom straight away. And whatever it is that you have that that fills your heart with a little bit of joy, if it's a podcast, or if it's some music, I've put on music to as a kind of a shield for negative thoughts. And I think this is very normal for artists, that we struggle with our critical thoughts. But you can tell your inner critic that these drawings don't have to amount to anything, because this is just only about practice, and nobody ever have to see them. But if they turn out really fantastic, I would really strongly encourage you to make sure you do prints of them, and you make sure you sell them and enjoy your success. But meanwhile, the main idea is to just be completely free. You're free of your own opinion as well, and you just allow yourself to express yourself freely. So yeah, put your music on, and I'm gonna allow myself to be quiet now, and enjoy your company, just quietly drawing together. if you're still here. Um, if you're still here, I am so grateful for the time you have spent with me. I really appreciate your presence, and I hope you had fun and you released your creativity a little bit, and if it didn't work out the first time, that you'll just do it again. But let me know how you got on and what you thought. If you like more of these videos where you get a reference and we draw together, I think that could be really lovely and fun. And what did you think about the silence? Was it okay? Because maybe I can just do quite silent and we can just quietly draw together. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. If you do subscribe, I'll be super happy and delighted and grateful. Have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye.